It doesn't even seem human-based. It seems like spiritual warfare, which is exactly what it is. It's good versus evil. It's righteousness versus wickedness. That brings us to where we are today, man. And unfortunately, pain is a great alarm clock, and so is fear. Both of those things wake people up. They always have, they always will. And we're going through a lot of pain and fear right now in our country and around the world. And I think that's why you're seeing people start to turn back to the truth.
This, in my assessment, and I know I'm not alone in this, in the veteran community, the dashboard is more than blinking red. It is smoke coming off of it right now in a much more
like pre-9/11 levels, you're saying?
Bigger than pre-9/11. There are more fighters in Al-Qaeda, 10x than there were pre-9/11. The way the border has been opened. Siraj Haqqani, the father of suicide bombing, is the Minister of Interior. He's issuing passports right now. He's the guy that issues travel documents. So they're here licit as well as illicit. And the fact that our government has given $80 million of taxpayer money every 10 days to the Taliban, I mean, it's almost, you have to ask yourself, what planet am I on right now at this 3-year anniversary?
That is all staggering stuff, much of which I didn't know.
You mentioned tech. You're exactly right. I think why we have seen the turbocharged culture that we're in right now towards evil is because of that, is because of tech. And when you read the book of Revelation, for instance, you know, that's about Jesus coming back. It's about what's going to happen before he comes back and what's going to happen after he comes back. It lays it all out, written by the Apostle John 2,000 years ago on the Isle of Patmos. John was actually he was a prisoner at that point. He'd been exiled. And he wrote the book of Revelation. But throughout the last couple of thousand years, theologians, preachers, regular people like us would read Revelation and could not make heads or tails as to how this stuff was even possible. It sounded like science fiction. Like, how is this possible? For instance, one of them is the mark of the beast. Like, well, how? It says you won't be able to buy or sell unless you have the mark of the beast or the mark of the system that's in place at that point. And nobody could ever understand, well, how in the world can you track everybody in the world and know how they spend their money and stop them from spending their money? How is that even possible? And then today in 24, we know about central bank digital currency. We know about globalism. We know about all these nations coming together that would love to just stranglehold the human population. So here we are, 2024. And I think today, the reason you're seeing a lot of people starting to wake up and pick the book up and start to read it and start to open up is because they can feel that these things are now happening. This is a new era, 2024 and beyond. It's a new era. It's probably part of what got you to wake up, that you're seeing all these things going, what am I really looking at? Because a lot of what you're seeing just defies logic altogether. And it seems so outside that it doesn't even seem human-based. It seems like spiritual warfare, which is exactly what it is. In the book of Revelation, it talks all about that. It says, we wrestle not with flesh and blood, but with principalities and powers and the rulers of spiritual darkness of this earth. That's really what the battle and the war is. And the more we see going on in the world, at least from me, because I know what's really up, you can almost see it. I mean, you can see people who are controlled by one or the other. You can really see it. It's clear as a bell.
You know, the first thing I thought about when I saw that is that we had better start paying attention here at home. You know, what happened on October 7 is not an anomaly. It's gonna hit us here at home. In fact, a lot of the veterans groups who are warning about an attack are saying that the next attack that hits the homeland is not going to be a World Trade Center type attack. It's going to be more of an October 7 style, Russian theater style attack where we live, work, and play. So I hope we're paying close attention to this.
Wow, I mean, you're talking, we've let in millions and millions of people. We have no idea who we are. We're vulnerable.
Yeah, we are. And ironically, the attackers that we're probably going to see do that have trained in the very NATO bases that we lived and operated in for 20 years in Afghanistan.
Wow.
To get people to wake up and realize this is way bigger than politics. This is way bigger than left and right, way bigger than culture. This is the ultimate that's going on right now. And to my point earlier, I think with the advent of tech and all the things that have happened, we don't know when this is all going to take place, but it's now possible for these things to take place. Those prophecies are not just in Revelation. They're in Daniel. Daniel talked about it 500 years before Jesus was around. He was talking about the whole thing. 2 Thessalonians, 1 Corinthians, Paul was talking about it. It's throughout. the Bible, what it's going to be like in the end time. So
this is the impact this has had on veterans all over the country. You know, these veterans defended America for 20 years. They did what they were asked to do. And then they were put in a position where they had to answer the phone and stand up for allies that our government wouldn't stand up for. And the moral injury that has caused, the level of suicide and impact, this is not a Republican or Democrat issue. This is an American issue. And Global War on Terror veterans, Pete, are trying to warn the American people and our politicians that it is coming, and it's going to come out of the very place that it started. And I hope we're listening.
You've said it right here. The dashboard isn't just blinking, it's smoking.
Absolutely.
I pray you're wrong, but I fear you're right, because nobody would know it better than you.
That brings us to where we are today, man. And unfortunately, pain is a great alarm clock, and so is fear. Both of those things wake people up. They always have, they always will. And we're going through a lot of pain and fear right now in our country and around the world. And I think that's why you're seeing people start to turn back to the truth.
Yeah, pain and fear gave me a jolt in this spiritual battle.